I'm just going to shut up and do it. How's that? Hey everybody, Luxinda Swirl here. New day, new Tumbler project. Woo! So today, I thought we'd make a Christmas tumbler. I will be using a 30-ounce thick today. This is from Makerflow. I sanded it, washed it, spray painted it. I happen to only have gloss black, so I spray painted it gloss black, and that's where that is. And what we're doing is a holiday tumbler featuring one of my dump jars. Dump jars are collections of glitter that, for whatever reason, they got mixed together, or they were left over after a tack it method, or some reason why they can't go back in their original package, but you don't really want to throw it away because it's glitter and it's not cheap. So you create dump jars. And you have little bits of all your different projects represented here. So this was my original one, and then I moved on to this. So this is probably 2 years ago, last year, and so far this year. And obviously these two are kind of skewing silver with other stuff in there, but overwhelmingly silver. But this one is very multicolor. So I'm gonna work with this one today. I think that'll be really pretty, but I wanted to show you how much I've accumulated since basically starting this channel. All right, so this is going to be a dump jar tumbler, and it's ultimately going to turn into a Christmas tumbler because it's that time of year. So let me get everything set up and we'll come back and get going. Okay, I'm going to mix up 30 milliliters, no I'm not. I'm going to mix up 60 milliliters of KS Liquid Stone Ultra UV epoxy resin. I won't need that much, but what I found is when I mix glitter into the resin, it helps to have more resin than I'll actually need. It just works better. I will end up using more resin than I would if I just put the plain resin onto the tumbler because this adds a lot of volume. So I mix up extra, and the extra I don't use goes into a mold so nothing gets wasted. And I'm gonna slap it on the tumbler here, and then we'll come back when it's set up and we will go on to the next step. And we're back. Okay, so this is what our cup looks like. It may look a little dull, and that's because I've already done a light sanding over the whole thing. There were just a few tiny little bumps, so I did like I said, a very light sanding. In general, while I wouldn't say it's a rule, I would say it's a guideline to put a couple layers of epoxy resin over your glitter before you do any sanding, just so you don't sand down too much, get maybe a little carried away, because if you do, this is what happens. You can see that. I sanded down too far, and that's okay. I'm not worried about that because this specific cup with the dump jar blend on it, I wanted to do something a tiny bit different, and it will involve covering up this down here, basically the bottom rim. So as a result, it didn't matter that I sanded too far. It was more important to me to get it completely smooth and not, I didn't care about that. But before we get to the top and bottom rim that I'm thinking about covering up, I'm going to put on a decal and a couple words, and then we will do the top and bottom and finish this cup up. First thing here is I want to put on the vinyl that I cut, because I can do that with transfer tape. The decal is on print then cut printable vinyl, and you cannot use transfer tape on that. There's a good chance it will, the transfer tape will tear the design when you pull the transfer tape off. So I put the cut vinyl on first with the transfer tape, and then I put the decal on next, and then we'll do the top and the bottom rim. This probably will not show up very well. It says Merry Sharkmas, and you'll see why in a moment, but this is going to go down here, and then my decal is going to go up here. This is Tech Wrap Craft chrome vinyl that they sent me in the most recent package. I did a video recently where I used a bunch of the other colors of chrome they sent me. I will link to that video below. I wanted to use this darker green, and I'm aware of the fact that on a dark-ish background it won't show up very well, but honestly that's okay because the decal is the focus. So this is just, you know, for people who actually get up close, this is just a little something extra, right? So I'm gonna just put this down here. I cut this out of my Cricut Explorer 2. I did have to set the cut to, what did I end up using? Holographic vinyl, I think. I tried it the first time on premium vinyl. There is no chrome vinyl setting. And the premium vinyl setting, even with the pressure set to more versus default, it still didn't cut it deeply enough. I was having trouble weeding it. So I went back and I used the holographic vinyl setting, which is just a little bit stronger or cuts a little deeper, and that worked really well. So there it is, Merry Sharkmas. Now, get out my favorite cup cradle here and line this up. And then here on my Nito brand, my favorite brand of printable vinyl, I did a print then cut of a graphic that I will link to this below. I got it off Etsy. And this is my shark Christmas tree. That on there like that. So I got my vinyl on, and now we're going to do the top and bottom rim. And my thought for that is to get out my foils from Artistic Painting Studio and my Artsyville foil adhesive. I'm going to basically paint around the rim with the adhesive, top and bottom, and then I'm going to foil the rim. So instead of doing, for example, a pinstripe or some sort of strip of vinyl or something like that, I'm going to do, in essence, a very, we'll call it artisanal, raggedy, not precise strip of foil, top and bottom. And I think that'll be pretty. Never done anything quite like this before, so we'll see if it works out the way I hope it does. So let me get a paintbrush and we'll get going. And then once I'm done with that, I'll put it on my Dollar Tree paper towel holder, set it off to the side, and let the adhesive dry for 45 minutes to an hour. And then we'll come back and see if we can get it to foil nicely. Again, it will look, raggedy is not the right word. Imprecise is definitely the right word, but there's probably another word for it, and I'm just not thinking of it right now. Like I said, I'm going to put this aside, let it dry, 45 minutes to an hour. You want it to be completely dry. It will be tacky and clear, but it will not be wet because the foil won't stick to it if it's still wet. Hey, we're back. This will be on the Xmas tumbler. I am going to use this as an accent color, bottom rim and top rim. I considered briefly doing a different color up here, but I think it'll look better if they match. That's just my decision on this one. Obviously, you could do whatever colors you wanted to. So what I'm gonna do is cut up some smaller pieces of this. You have seen me use this before. I used it as an accent when I used the Majestic glitter that came in the same monthly foil subscription package with this. So the easiest way to use this, unless you're gonna wrap it on the whole cup, is just to cut it into smaller pieces. I have an envelope where I put all of the leftover pieces that I don't end up using in a project. That way, if I need accent colors or just a little bit to touch up an area with, I have an envelope full of various colored pieces. Just makes it easier to find them and then to be able to use them. They're ready to go. Just gonna shut up and do it. If anybody watches Anthony Crammon, I will put a plug in here. He recently got some foils himself and tried them on his channel, and it was wonderful. As I suspected it would be. I was hoping he had good luck with it, and he did. So I will link to his video below. If you don't know who I'm talking about and you don't watch his channel already, you're missing out. Obviously, that's my opinion, but I think I'm right. So go check him out. Show him some love. He's a good guy, and he had a lot of fun using these. Yeah, actually, I like this. I picked the blue, in case you're wondering. I picked the blue because the sharks are blue. It's not exactly the same shade of blue, but I thought that would be kind of a cool compliment. Enhance the whole idea of sharks in the water. So there we go. Merry Sharkmas, featuring blue foils, blue sharks. But I like that. I like that so much. All right, so what happens next? I'm gonna put some UV resin over this and probably over the vinyl. And then I'll put a layer of epoxy resin over the entire thing. Into that, I absolutely will be putting some 504. And just for the heck of it, I'll mix in a little rainbow marabou alcohol ink. Quite possibly, unless I encounter some problem I need to tell you about in the interim. The next time you see this, we will be out in the sunshine for the sunshine shot. So, stay tuned.